We're live on the air.
Alright, that's what's up, man. What's going on?
Yo, it's great to finally have you live on a Monday night. I know you're a busy man, and we always appreciate it, all the time and attention you give to us and our listeners. And all the music that you've contributed to the station over the years is constantly in rotation. You're a huge fixture here, so it's an honor to have you live for our Monday Night Fresh. We're all big fans of this legend, one of the most timeless, most durable, consistent recording artists in the history of the culture, and he's also a visual artist too, right? You have deep roots in graffiti art, right?
Oh yeah. Back in the days, yeah. Me and my man Scratchmaster Rob, who's from the Bronx, New York, we got together and we both lived in this town, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and we kind of brought graffiti to that city. We bombed the whole city. So yeah, I go back with graffiti and just doing artists, do flyers for old school parties back in the early days of hip hop. So yeah, all that that's all part of my history for sure.
I would predict or guess that you were one of us cardboard on the sidewalk guys in the early 80s, right?
You mean with the breakdancing?
Yeah.
Yeah. We did a little bit of that too. Yeah, for sure.
So you're also very well known and respected for doing a lot of the graffiti art covers of your own music, right?
Oh yeah. I for many of my albums or 12-inch releases, I did the artwork for them. 45 as well, and also I for a while I had like a little business going, just doing like custom sleeves for people, where people would pay me just to pretty much do artwork on their record sleeves. Schoolie, I got to give it to him. He was doing that on actual records before me. But yeah, that's always been a thing. He definitely was an inspiration as well, because when I saw he could do that, it's like, yo, I can do that too. Like I got the very first Schoolie D records, which was like Gangsta Boogie. This is like, man, what was that, 83, 84 maybe, I guess. So, it's way before PSK. And he was doing artwork on his labels even back then. So I said, yeah, definitely when I get a chance to do a record, I'm absolutely going to do my own artwork on it. And that's what I did.
Did you know Schoolie D back then?
Nah, I've never met Schoolie D. To this day, I've never met Schoolie D. I wish I could have got to the Philly hip-hop show, old school hip-hop show, a couple weeks ago that Cash Money did. I would have met him there, but yeah, I couldn't make it to it. But yeah, I've never met Schoolie D, but always held him in high regard for sure.
That's a very interesting fact. How about the Tough Crew? How well are you familiar with those guys?
I'm familiar with them, but yeah, I just met Too Tough for the first time. We communicated before, like online a little bit, but I just met him like I guess about a month ago for a video shoot we did for Spit Slam Records. That was the first time actually meeting him in person. Real cool dude, man. Real cool dude, for real. He's a character and very talented. Very talented.
Yeah, he's reached out to me. Very, very cool guy. So, yeah, you're the Spit Slam label. You have a project coming out on that, right?
Absolutely. It's dropping. What is it? It'll be next Tuesday, so it's like 8 days from now. And that's going to be an album. The title is Phill Most Chill, I'm. And it's produced totally by DJ M Rock, who did a phenomenal job on it. And we've been posting a little bit of it on social media the last couple of days, and just so people can know it's coming. And it's available right now for pre-order on Apple Music if you want to do it that way. But we're also going to have vinyl, we're going to have CDs, and yeah, it's a fantastic album. It's got like it's totally pure hip hop, but it's also got a rock flavor to it. You know what I mean? Where you're gonna have the sound of rock. So it was like genius for my man C-Doc at Spit Slam to come up with the idea of flipping the Run DMC King of Rock album cover for this album cover. So we did like a remake of it, and I think that really says a lot about what this album is. It's pure hip hop, but it's got a lot of rock elements to it as well. So it's like it's a little bit of a departure, a little bit different than some of the stuff I've done before, but is phenomenal. Anybody who likes my stuff I've done in the past, if you like the album I just did with Jar One, if you like the joint that me and AC did just recently, the King of the North, you're gonna love this too. It's all in the same vein, but still going down its own lane at the same time. You know what I mean?
Shout out to DJ M Rock for checking in and tuning in for the interview. That's dope. Thank you very much for tuning in and checking out the show tonight. We have the legendary Phill Most Chill online, and yeah, I just want to rewind for a second here. You heard it here first from the source. 3 of the most legendary hip hop artists ever from Philly never really met. Phill Most Chill, Tough Crew, and Schoolie D. 3 of the most common names I ever heard mentioned of Philly legends from the 80s to now. It's pretty amazing you guys never met before. That's a pretty interesting fact.
Well, let me speak on that real quick too. The reason is not because of them, it's because of me. Because I'm like a hermit almost. I stay in the house. I don't come out. I don't go to events too much. I just don't do it. I don't know why, but that's just because I haven't been around and doing things and being visible as they are. I just kind of have been doing my thing just on my own. You know what I mean?
Well,
not really going to events and everything.
That makes you a great example that you don't have to be all networky. Yeah, networky is a good word to describe it. To do what you want to do and be known for what you want to be known for. Phill Most Chill is one of the greatest role models in hip-hop history, much like Percy P, who has persevered through the times, like 45 King, stayed true to your original formula. Very well known and respected. To the people out there that are tuning in now, that we're very also aware that Phill is also known as not as just a hip-hop recording artist, but also as a DJ, as a break mixtape DJ, Soul Man. A lot of people know him as Soul Man for his break mixtape.
Okay, yeah. So that's an interesting thing you say there, because it's wild, because a lot of people know me as a rapper, and they don't even know about the other stuff. And then some people know me for breaks and all that, and they don't know anything about that. And some people know me from back in the 90s when I wrote for Rap Sheet magazine. They know me as a journalist, and they don't really know about the other stuff. It's like, yeah, but no, it's the same guy. Phill Most Chill, Phill Most the Soul Man World of Beats is all the same guy doing different things.
And a graffiti artist.
I wouldn't say I'm a legendary graffiti artist, but artist. But yeah, because I did art in Rap Sheet magazine as well. But also, some people only know me as the guy who was selling records at the Roosevelt Hotel record convention. You know what I mean? They don't even know I was doing these other things. You know what I mean? They know me as Phill, the guy who's selling records and selling breaks to all the top producers in New York back in the 90s. So, yeah, some people like to say I'm a Renaissance man or whatever. I just do a lot of things, man. It's like whatever is connected to hip hop, I'm into all of it. You know what I mean? That's pretty much my history for real.
Well, there's a few artists that I put on like an upper echelon, an untouchable class of timeless consistency, never falling off. And, you and Large Professor and 45 King are like those artists that I talk about, from the old school to the new school, have maintained your soul, never lost your soul to the game or the music industry. It's pretty commendable. So let's get back to your new album, the I'm album on Spit Slam that's coming out in about a week. I want to help you promote that more as much as we can right now, since we got you alive on the air. And please tell our listeners more about the project.
Yeah, well, it's something that came about from I got down with Spit Slam when M Rock was doing his album a few years ago, and I did one of the joints on there. It's been a while. Like I gotta try to think about it. Stomp Your Whole Crew, that joint, and yeah, I guess that was kind of well received, and we just kept talking. And I love these guys at Spit Slam. They're fantastic, great to work with, and we got the idea. Let's do an album. And yeah, we just started working on it, and yeah, it came very naturally, I think. You know what I mean? We had to figure a few things out, but then once we we got rolling, especially in the last phase of doing it, yeah, it was just natural. Just everything just fell right into place from my standpoint anyway. And yeah, no, it was just been a great experience, really great experience. And also, I've been able to just now talk about. I've been holding it, under my hat for a minute, but yeah, they got me to rock on Chuck D's album, which is coming out next month. Enemy Radio joint, Radio
Wow.
Armageddon. And that's like a true honor for me to be on the record with the great Chuck D. That's like, you know, I couldn't ask for anything better than that.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, man, it's fantastic.
I saw you post something about that today. I remember about a year ago or so, you posted a picture of a letter from Def Jam that was written to you, and I was seriously and like, you know, obviously not seriously, but hoping that it was like an A&R contract. They were hoping that Def Jam was going to finally make you an A&R.
I don't know if I would even want to do that, to be honest. But yeah, it was a contract. That's something I had to sign for. You know, to you know, anytime you're doing something on the label, you got to sign a release or whatever.
What'd you do for Def Jam?
I'm on Chuck D's album.
Okay, so
radio.
I didn't know Spit Slam was a Def Jam thing.
Spit Slam is Chuck D's label, and this album is actually on Def Jam. So you know,
cool.
It's all connected, but it's, you know, two different entities. So to speak,
that's very
you know
cool to hear anything related to Def Jam putting out good new music.
Yeah, well, you know, like I posted a little bit earlier. That was like back in the days, man. Back when Def Jam first came out in the '80s, that was the label you wanted to be on. You know, and my man Scratchmaster Rob, he would go up to Rick Rubin's apartment. I don't think this was the dorm in NYU. I think it was an apartment on Broadway or someplace maybe. But he would go there shopping Phill Most Chill demos. You know what I mean? And you know, he'd tell me all the stories. He was there when they were making the beat for Brass Monkey, the Beastie Boys, and he would talk about, he was talking to Rick and playing them stuff, and he'd hear all this stuff before it came out, and he'd be right there. You see the Def Jam jackets hanging up in Rick's apartment. And and by the way, just a little funny little side note on that if you ever see the Run DMC Raising Hell album cover where they're like standing in front of a window, yeah, that's right in Rick's apartment. And Russ and Scratchmaster Rob told me that because he was there, and he recognized as soon as he saw the album cover. So he was up there hanging with Rick. And, you know, it didn't happen. You know, I mean, honestly, I wasn't ready for it yet to get signed to Def Jam. I didn't have my game all together just yet. But it was still a great experience just to know my stuff was being heard by Rick Rubin. And then to now, all these years later, you know, 40 years later, to actually have something coming out on Def Jam is like the whole thing just went full circle now. You know what I mean? So,
Didn't your first single come out in like '88?
88, yeah. So this is before 88. This is like 86, I guess. Okay. 85, 86.
Oh, but you were ready for Def Jam by 88 for sure. They should have signed you back then.
You know, yeah, what can you say? You know, you gotta have the right connections at the right time. That's just how it goes.
Let's take some trips back into your history. What are some of your favorite memories from the old school, from your original days when you first got into hip hop?
Oh, well, my favorite memories are that would be before rap was even on records, going to the parties. Like my first party I ever went to, hip-hop party, first time I ever heard the music, saw a DJ scratching on 2 turntables and everything. That would be like 1978. So that was the best time ever in hip-hop for me. 1978 to summer of 1979, before Sugar Hill Gang came out. That's when the music was at its best and its purest, in my opinion. You know, that's something that a lot of people are not even going to know about, because they weren't around. They couldn't, you know, see what was happening back then. But to me, that was the time that really told you what hip hop really is. And since then, it's really, honestly, it's been watered down, changed, and you know, the industry makes everything a lot different. But that was the pure sound, and the records that have tried to capture that pure sound have been the best hip hop records, in my opinion. But yeah, those were my memories. Seeing the Funky Four live, seeing Bamba, the Zulu Nation, you know, Grandmaster Flash Furious 5, seeing them rocking live. All that was like the best stuff to me. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so here we are in 2025, and you've taken the high road on the industry. You've created your own industry. You didn't care about going out to all the parties and all the industry shows. You stayed in your own lane, and today you're more relevant than ever. I can say that conclusively. More people know about you than ever. You're more popular than ever.
It's just being true to who you are, and You know, I mean, you can't fake that. You are who you are. And one of the things with me, I think a lot of people who get into the game as far as making music, they're in it to get famous and make a lot of money and get rich and all this kind of stuff. It's never been like that for me. I'm not gonna say I never had any dreams that, you know, yeah, I could hit it real big and all that, but not really. You know, my dream was to make a record. Back in the 80s with me and my cousin Russ Ace, we had the crew Devastating too. I just wanted to make a record, man. I wanted to make a record and people hear it and think it's dope. You know, and that's it. Everything else, because like back then, you couldn't even think about making a lot of money. Rappers didn't make a lot of money back then. So that wasn't even in the game plan. It was just about making dope music. And to this day, that's all I really care about is making dope music. Now, would I like for to strike it rich and some big thing happen? Yeah, sure. But I don't do it for those reasons. All that kind of stuff, the glamour and glitz, I'm not interested in none of that.
It's gotta feel good to see your records selling for hundreds of dollars though now.
Yeah, because that kind of lets me know that, you know, I wasn't wrong, that no, I am doing some stuff that's noteworthy in its own right, you know what I mean, even though it may not be big with mass appeal and gold and platinum and all that. No, it's something that's true to the culture, true to this genre of music. And, you know, the fact that, you know, a lot of it is rare and you can't really find it is going to make, you know, drive the price up. But still, there has to be some interest in it in the first place for people to want to pay that much money for the record. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a vindication for, you know, the whole long journey, you know. So, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I like to share that. I like to share that fact about small group of artists like yourself who have been able to, you know, find some level of success as an independent artist, as a self-reliant person who didn't go through the industry for your success. You created your own industry, and I just like other artists to be able to have you as a reference point. Phill Most Chill, he did it his way. You know, he's like fucking hip-hop Frank Sinatra and shit.
Well, one thing to remember too, like my situation might be a little different than some. Some people might be dependent on that music money to survive, to keep their lights on and everything. That's never been the case for me. So I never quit my day job. My day job started as just a job and turned into an actual career. So it's something I was able to, you know, live a pretty good life off of, you know, raise my children, have them go to college and get college degrees, and it's just you know, other artists, you know, they're I would say they're compromised, you know what I mean, because they have to do what they have to do to try to keep the lights on and make money. So I don't begrudge anybody for trying to do something that might be, say, a little more commercial, maybe not as just down to earth, raw hip hop. Everybody can do what they do. It's all good with me, you know, but I'm going to do what I do for the people who want to hear that. Even if it's a small amount of people, it doesn't matter to me, because, you know, as long as I feel like I did something dope, then I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let's get a little deeper. Let's get a little deeper. Speaking of compromised artists,
yes, sir.
Speaking of compromised artists, me and Phill, you know, had a small, very slight disagreement about a beat that Nas made a song out of called "Made You Look," right? Was it "Made You Look"?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know, we had we were talking about on the phone. I was like, it would be better for us to have this conversation live on the air. These kind of conversations would be much better to share with the listeners than to just have between us, because these are the kind of conversations that you don't hear live on like Drink Champs and shit like that.
That's right.
Okay, you know that feeling that you get inside when you hear a song that you love, you know, a classic single, but you never want to hear it again because it just got played out. It's stale now. That's the feeling I try to avoid the most if I'm ever DJing. I don't want to spoil nobody's moment. I don't want to give nobody that feeling ever, because that feeling is the ultimate definition of stale to me, and the opposite of fresh. So I'm like, that's like the biggest no-no for me as a DJ. Like, I'm not trying to make anybody feel that. So when I heard Nas use that beat, it was like, everybody loves that break, and we loved uses of it in the past, but like at that point, past 1995, at that point in Nas's career, it didn't impress me to hear him rap on that break. I'm like, now you're cheating kind of, because like it's an easy one, but like fresh. Where's the fresh beats? All this shit's been waxed and it's Stillmatic. Yeah, you went to a classic break, but I'm not going to be that impressed by Nas rapping on that break.
Okay, so and listen, you have the right to feel however you want to feel. It's all this shit is subjective. However you feel is how you feel. All right. But I just have to say, like, if anybody tries to say like that beat is whack or anything like that, I'm sorry.
Nah,
It's
it's not a whackness thing at all. It's just a fresh versus stale.
Never stale. Apache's never stale.
There's some beats that I love that I only want to hear like certain uses of it that I've heard before. Like if somebody else uses it again, I'm not gonna want to hear them using it again because I was just disenchanted, for lack of a better term, with Nas at that point when he dropped that. So it was like, let me hear the album, and then the album's whack. So I skipped, and that's like led to him making an album called Hip Hop Is Dead, where he's conceding hip hop to death. The way I'm experiencing Nas as a fan of him, I'm a big fan of him. You know, I want the best for him. I want the best from him. So like when I'm seeing an artist de-evolve instead of evolve, like their use of a classic, well-known, well-used break is gonna be hard to impress me with it.
My whole thing when we talked about it before was about the legitimacy of it, you know, because the whole thing came up for the people who are listening. It came up because me and my man Soma, Big Carm, we used that beat for like a promo type thing we did because he's a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. And we decided we're going to come together. We're going to be the Steagles. We're going to put it together. We're going to do a promo because the Eagles and Steelers were about to have a game. And so we did our rap to it, and we put it up on TikTok, and it went like mini viral. Did like about 60,000 views in a couple of days, which was pretty good. I don't know why it didn't do anything on the other social media platforms. It's just I don't know the algorithms, but yeah, it did about over 60,000 in a couple of days. So but you let me know, that hey, you weren't really feeling that beat choice. And just for clarity, my man Soma, he didn't really want to rock to that beat either, but he got busy with it because he's a professional, he's a dope MC in his own right. And I just wanted to make it clear to you that that beat is dope. I think that's one of Nas's dopest beats because again, it's Apache, it's the backbone of hip hop. Salam Remy, who used to buy beats from me at the Roosevelt record shows, he made the beat, and I love what he did with it. He kept it simple. He didn't put a whole lot of glitter on it. He kept it raw. And I think for people who were down on Nas because of some of the commercial stuff that he had been doing, I think this was a departure from that. I thought this was taking it back to the raw street essence of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That's the feel I got from it. As somebody who went to those parties back in the days, that was like a raw one. And so for it to actually have commercial success as well, that's a win. That's a win for hip hop as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you're not
so
alone.
I could never see that as being like anything commercial or whack or anything like that, or stale or anything. It was fresh to me.
And you're not alone with that. A lot of people feel the same way. So, thanks for sharing your view on that and having that conversation with me on the air. Saying that's very dope of you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, it's all good, man. It's cool. We don't all have to agree on everything. We don't all have to like the same beats. It's all good. We can talk about it and we can agree to disagree, and it's all good. You know what I mean? You my brother anyway, so it's all good, man.
Well, whatever we have in common is more important than our differences. Like we have a lot of dope things in common. And that's what led me to you because like I was finding, how consistent and productive you were staying after all those years. And I was like, I reached out to you. It was well over 10, 15 years ago when I first reached out to you. And you've been really able to identify real fans and relate to your real fans. And that's really commendable and unusual for a lot of artists who are as legendary as you are.
And you know what? I didn't even realize it had been that long since we had started communicating with each other. I didn't realize it until I went back and I gave you some acapellas for some songs I'd done a long time ago, and I saw I had shouted you out on one of those songs. That song was from about 12 or 13 years ago. And I was like, dang, okay, yeah. I didn't know it'd been that long that we've been rocking with each other. But yeah, that's great, man, for sure.
Well, I reach out to the artists that I respect that I play on the station, and some of them don't stay in touch. But you're one of those amazing artists who did. And one of my favorite stories from the way we met was how I sent you a song that I had made with a beat from one of your Soul Man mixtapes. And you didn't recognize where I got the break from, and I had to really dig and find that mixtape that had the break that I made the beat with and show you that's where I got it from, and you were like, yeah, I like it. I like what you did with that, and that made me feel real good as a producer and as a b-boy to get your approval on me using a break off one of your mixtapes. Like, that that was one of my favorite memories of ours.
Okay, nah, that's dope, man. Nah, that's what I did those tapes for. I was hoping people would take them and sample them. And actually, some people did. You know what I mean? So, it would have been nice if some of those people gave me some credit for, but I understand how that works. So,
yeah,
it don't even matter,
I'm
man.
giving you credit. I'm giving you credit. All credit due. I made that beat that I made for Pal Shadows and AC Alone. Coming for Gold with the Soul Man Break mixtape.
Listen, that's what I did those tapes for. I hope that people would take some stuff off of them and use them, and that's all about making better hip hop music. You know what I'm saying? If you sample something from one of my tapes, I think it's gonna be dope, more than likely. You know what I mean? So yeah. So
like
go ahead
Apache, you can't miss. It's like Apache, you can't miss with that.
Right. That's how I feel about it.
That's right, big brother. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to share with us about the future? You got some plans you want to tell the listeners about?
Oh yeah, well definitely, absolutely. Get ready next week. We're gonna have a listening party 1 week from today. We'll give more info on that. Just check my social media, either Phill Most Chill on IG or Phill Most on Facebook. Go to the Phill Most on Facebook. Don't go to the Phill Most Chill, aka Soul Man, because I never even bother with that one. Just go to Phill Most on Facebook. We'll drop all the info on everything, where you can go to the listening party and everything, and where to get the album. Phill Most Chill, I'm on Spit Slam Records. Don't miss it. You need that for sure.
That's
also,
that's I''M. I'm.
Yes, exactly.
That's the name of
like
that.
I'm Phill Most Chill.
The name of the album. I'm.
Yes.
I''M.
Yes.
Phill Most Chill.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. So yeah, so that's gonna be next week. Then also we got Chuck D's album, Enemy Radio Armageddon. That's coming in about a month from now. I got an appearance on that. Be on the lookout for the Analog Mutants album coming later this year. Be on the lookout for an album with me and my man Paul Crash Slaughter, which is going to be crazy. You're definitely going to need that one in your life too. And absolutely, hopefully before the year's out, we have that Phill Most Chill AC, the program director, El Chapo album, which is going to be also bananas. So a lot happening in 2025. Be on the lookout.
I'm gonna send you that beat before the night's over, and
please do. I've been waiting, man. Please.
Yeah, pardon me the delay on that. It should have been out of control over here. The amazing Phill Most Chill tonight on Monday Night Fresh. He's one of the greatest, most reliable people in the culture that you can rely on for good music, good new art. Whatever he's doing, whatever his name's involved with, you can pretty much guarantee it's worth your money and your time. If you're gonna spend your money and your time with Phill Most Chill, he's not gonna rip you off. He's not a rip-off artist. He was born to do this. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate you saying that, man. You said that just like I wrote it. I appreciate it. All right, man. Peace.
In a minute. Peace.